Shadows of Sleepy Hollow Road, The Horned Demon. Chapter 1, Whispers in the Night. Nestled in the rolling hills of Kentucky, Sleepy Hollow Road is a seemingly ordinary stretch of asphalt that winds through dense woods and open fields. During the day, it is a peaceful place, a quiet escape for locals who enjoy the serene beauty of nature. But as dusk descends and darkness envelopes the landscape, everything changes. The townsfolk of nearby Millstone have long told tales about the road that send shivers down the spines of even the bravest souls. They speak of a horned demon that lurks in the shadows, a tall, thin figure that stands in the middle of the road, causing crashes and chaos for unsuspecting drivers. High school students, eager to test their courage, often challenge one another to drive down this isolated stretch at night. They share stories of eerie encounters, phones and cars mysteriously stopping working near a particular bend, and strange noises that echo in the dark. It is a place steeped in urban legend, but for some, the tales are all too real. Chapter 2, The Dare. One crisp autumn evening, a group of friends gathered in a dimly lit basement, the air heavy with excitement and anticipation. Max, the self-proclaimed daredevil of the group, leaned back on the couch, a mischievous grin on his face. "Who's up for a little adventure?" he asked, glancing around the room. "What do you have in mind?" replied Sarah, her brow furrowing in curiosity. "Sleepy Hollow Road," Max declared, his voice dripping with bravado. "I heard the stories about that demon. Let's go see if they're true." The room fell silent, a mixture of fear and thrill hanging in the air. Emily, the more cautious member of the group, crossed her arms and shook her head. "You guys are insane. Those are just stories." "Come on, Em," Max urged, his enthusiasm infectious. "It'll be fun. Besides, what's the worst that could happen?" After a few moments of hesitation, the group agreed to embark on the adventure. They piled into Max's old SUV, the engine rumbling to life as they set off into the night, unaware of the danger that awaited them. Chapter 3, Into the Darkness. As they drove deeper into the countryside, the familiar sights of their town faded away, replaced by the encroaching darkness of the woods that lined Sleepy Hollow Road. The trees loomed like silent sentinels, their branches swaying in the breeze, casting ghostly shadows across the road. "Are you sure this is a good idea?" Emily asked, her voice tinged with apprehension. "Relax, it's just a road," Max replied, trying to sound more confident than he felt. "We'll be fine." The atmosphere in the car shifted as they approached the infamous bend, the stories of the horned demon echoing in their minds. The air felt thick with tension, and the laughter that had filled the car moments before faded into an uneasy silence. Suddenly, the headlights illuminated something in the middle of the road. A figure stood tall and thin, its long limbs stretching towards the sky. The friends gasped collectively, their hearts pounding in their chests. "Oh my God," Sarah whispered, gripping the seat tightly. Max slammed on the brakes, the tires screeching in protest as they came to a halt just inches from the figure. The air grew still, the only sound the heavy breathing of the terrified friends. Chapter 4, The Encounter. The figure remained motionless in front of them, shrouded in darkness. Max's heart raced as he squinted to see more clearly. What they had thought was a story had suddenly become all too real. "Is that a person?" he stammered, unable to comprehend what he was seeing. "It doesn't look human," Emily replied, her voice barely audible. As the friends stared in disbelief, the figure slowly turned its head, revealing glowing eyes that pierced through the darkness like twin lanterns. A set of long, curved horns protruded from its head, casting an ominous shadow over its gaunt face. Panic surged through the group as Max fumbled with the gear shift, struggling to reverse the vehicle. But as he pressed the gas pedal, nothing happened. The engine sputtered and died, leaving them stranded in the eerie silence. "Start the car! Start the car!" Sarah shouted, her voice rising in panic. Max turned the key in the ignition again and again, but the engine refused to cooperate. The demon-like figure took a step closer, its long limbs moving with an unnatural grace. "Go! Go!" Emily screamed, her heart racing as dread enveloped them. Chapter 5, The Escape. In a moment of sheer instinct, Max threw the vehicle into gear and slammed on the accelerator. The SUV lurched forward, narrowly avoiding the figure as it lunged towards them. The friends screamed as they sped down the road, the headlights illuminating the dark path ahead. "What the hell was that?" Sarah gasped, trying to catch her breath. "I don't know, but I'm not sticking around to find out," Max shouted, his voice shaky as adrenaline coursed through his veins. The group remained silent, the tension palpable as they drove further away from the bend. But just as they thought they were free, the car began to sputter again, the headlights flickering ominously. "What's wrong with it?" Emily cried, her eyes wide with fear. "I don't know. It's like it's losing power," Max replied, his hands gripping the steering wheel tightly. Suddenly, the car lurched to a stop, the engine finally giving out. They were stranded, and the darkness closed in around them. Chapter 6, The Legend Unraveled. As they sat in the dead silence of the car, the friends exchanged terrified glances. The stories they had dismissed as mere folklore were now a haunting reality. Max finally broke the silence, his voice trembling. "Okay, we need to get out of here. We can't stay in this car." "What if that thing comes back?" Sarah whispered, her voice shaking. "We'll just have to run," Max said, his determination rising. "We can't let it trap us here." Taking a deep breath, the group opened the doors and stepped out into the night. The air was thick with tension, and the sounds of the forest surrounded them. They huddled together, eyes scanning the darkness for any sign of movement. "Let's head back towards town," Emily suggested, her voice barely above a whisper. As they began to walk, they felt an inexplicable pull towards the bend in the road where they had encountered the figure. It was as if an unseen force was guiding them, drawing them back to the very spot they had tried to escape. Chapter 7, The Truth Behind the Demon. As they approached the bend, they noticed something strange, a faint, flickering light emanating from the trees nearby. Curiosity overcame their fear, and they cautiously moved closer to investigate. What they found was a gathering of locals, lanterns lit around a small fire. The townsfolk looked up in surprise as the group of friends emerged from the darkness. "Are you all right?" an older man asked, concern etched on his face. We saw something on the road," Max stammered, trying to catch his breath. The man nodded knowingly, his expression somber. "You encountered the demon of Sleepy Hollow Road, didn't you?" The friends exchanged uneasy glances, realizing they were not alone in their experience. "Many have seen him," the man continued. "He appears to those who venture too close to the bend. It's said that he feeds on fear and chaos, causing accidents to those who dare to challenge him." "Why do people keep coming here?" Emily asked, her voice trembling. "The thrill of the unknown," the man replied. "Some seek to prove their bravery, but many pay the price. It's a warning from those who have come before you." Chapter 8, Confronting Fears. As the friends listened to the stories of the locals, they began to understand the deeper meaning behind the legend. The demon was not just a creature of fear, he was a manifestation of the darkness that lurks within us all. "We can't let fear control us," Max said, his voice steadying. "We need to confront this." With newfound determination, the friends decided to return to the bend one last time. They gathered their courage, joined by the locals, who formed a protective circle around them. As they approached the spot where they had first encountered the demon, Max stepped forward, his heart pounding. "We're not afraid of you," he shouted into the night. "We refuse to let you hold us captive." The air around them crackled with energy, and for a moment, everything was still. The friends stood united, their fear transforming into strength. Chapter 9, The Final Confrontation. Suddenly, the air grew cold, and the figure materialized before them, its glowing eyes fixed on Max. The horned demon loomed tall, its presence overwhelming, but this time the friends stood firm, unwilling to back down. "You cannot control us," Sarah shouted, her voice echoing through the darkness. "We choose to face you." The demon hesitated, its form flickering like a flame in the wind. It seemed to sense the change in the air, the shift in energy as the friends confronted their fears together. In that moment, a light began to illuminate the area around them, casting away the shadows. The demon recoiled, its power waning against the strength of their resolve. Chapter 10, Liberation. With a final, defiant roar, the demon vanished into the night, leaving behind only a whisper of wind and the sound of rustling leaves. The friends stood in stunned silence, feeling the weight of fear lift from their shoulders. "We did it," Max said, disbelief etched on his face. The townsfolk erupted in cheers, celebrating the courage of the young people who had confronted the darkness. They had faced the legend of Sleepy Hollow Road and emerged victorious. From that night on, the demon was no longer a figure of fear but a reminder of the strength that comes from unity and courage. The stories changed, transforming from cautionary tales into legends of bravery, inspiring future generations to face their fears head-on. Epilogue, A New Beginning. As the friends left Sleepy Hollow Road that night, they felt a sense of liberation. They had confronted the darkness and emerged stronger, bonded by an experience that would forever shape their lives. In the months that followed, they shared their story with others, encouraging people to embrace their fears and confront the unknown. Sleepy Hollow Road became a place of empowerment, a symbol of strength and resilience. The legend of the horned demon would continue to be told, but now it served as a reminder that fear could be faced and conquered. And as the sun rose over the hills of Kentucky, the shadows that once loomed over Sleepy Hollow Road were forever cast away, leaving behind a path of hope and courage for all who dared to travel its winding way.